So this is Jerusalem Idol. There's a little bit of shuffling. Sean, you're the major role as Yoni, but can you also read Purple,
Sure.
which is Barabbas at the top of page 7? It's just 2 lines.
Okay.
Rick, you're yellow, but can you also read Pink? It's Old Rabbi on page 7 and 8. And then Scott, you are green. Marcellus, Dirk, you're blue. Travis, you're on your own. 2 parts. Cassianus and Cato Clay. Leandra, you're on your own. 3 parts. And Alex, you're on your own. Everybody ready? Here we go. Jerusalem Idol. Exterior Nazareth Town Square, day. Super Nazareth, 45 AD. Giant cloth posters of Cato Clay, a blonde, curly-haired youth with the caption, "Congratulations to our new Jerusalem Idol winner," adorn a crowded town square. Other anachronistic ads fill the square, including images of a long-haired Roman holding a mug with a caption that reads, "Simon says, drink Jerusalem light ale." Exterior Nazareth Side Street, day. Yoni Ben Solomon, a 20 to early 30s, too tall, lanky jumble of bones, carries some pieces of wood as he weaves through a crowded side street, oblivious to the commotion around him. A teenage girl, 16, dressed in white Roman garb, pushes her way onto the crowded sidewalk, knocking an older woman into the gutter. The girl turns back toward a group of her friends dressed in matching white garb who have yet to catch up to her, waves towards them, and calls out in a loud voice.
It's him!
Yoni runs over to the old woman and helps her up.
Are you okay?
The old woman, dazed only for a moment, obnoxiously pushes Yoni out of the way and follows the girl as she runs toward an intersection where a crowd with their backs to us have assembled. A group of teenage friends scream and run toward the crowd amassing at the intersection and knock Yoni down. He's left dazed in the middle of the street with the wood he was carrying sprawled next to him. The teenagers scream hysterically and continue running. Exterior Nazareth Town Square, day. The teenagers break through the crowd and all faint at the same time as they view Cato inside the chariot as it rolls slowly down the main street toward them in the town square. Biblical types with Jerusalem Idol banners surround the chariot transporting Cato Clay, dressed in a white tunic, wearing a garland of flowers. At his side is Linda the harlot, a sexy blonde wearing a red sash. They wave to the crowd. Yoni approaches an obese man on the side of the parade route and stares at the passing chariot in awe.
Is that?
You got it. Cato Clay.
And?
The runner-up, Linda the harlot.
Wow. They say the idol winner has a real influence with the Romans.
Not to mention the cash he's getting.
No kidding.
Yoni and the man are transfixed as the chariot passes them and rolls down the street. Exterior Yoni's home, outskirts of Nazareth, day. Yoni's father, Ben, a middle-aged man with salt and pepper hair, is in the front yard chopping a piece of wood as Yoni approaches.
Did you get the special wood?
Pure Lebanese cedar. Isn't that what you wanted?
Yoni holds up one of the planks.
A new order just came in. Another lame-brained zealot is being nailed to the cross, and we have about 30 minutes to set everything up. Otherwise, the Romans are going to throw a shit fit, and we'll be out of business.
Dad, you told me I could have the afternoon off.
Do you want me to turn down new business?
I need the time to practice my new routine.
What's the matter? Carpentry isn't good enough for you now. We provide a service, and a damn good one, too. We help crucify zealots. Can you think of a better career?
You forgot. Last week I mentioned that I wanted to become a comedian.
A what?
It's what the Romans call them. A new kind of prophet who tells jokes. And they get paid for it, too.
Your father isn't a tyrant. You don't want to work for me? That's fine. You can be a rabbi.
I don't want to be a rabbi.
Your mother has lunch ready. Go inside. You only have 15 minutes. Then you have to meet me up at the crucifixion.
Interior dining room, day. Rivka, Yoni's mother, an attractive middle-aged woman with dark hair covered with a scarf, is preparing a meal at a table as Yoni enters. At the table are various lepers, some covered head to toe in bandages, others dressed in long flowing robes and shrouds covering their faces.
Mom, who are these people?
Please, Yoni, these are my guests.
Guests? What are you talking about?
Rivka sits down at the table with the others.
Would you like to say the prayer over wine, Yoni dear?
Yoni looks at the people at the table and leans over and whispers to Rivka.
I'll ask you again. Who are they?
Just some people from the neighborhood.
Slowly looking around, Yoni carefully slinks into his seat. He eyes the strangers again. Yoni then slowly lifts the shroud covering one guest's face. He quickly drops the shroud, gets up deliberately, and very slowly retreats toward the door.
Would you please come outside for a minute?
Is there something wrong?
Exterior front yard, day.
They're lepers.
We're all God's children.
Yoni begins to hyperventilate.
Yoni, what's wrong?
Yoni, now all contorted, runs over and grabs a bucket, which overhangs a well, and takes a large sponge and begins to awkwardly wipe himself down.
This isn't like you.
Oh yeah? If I don't clean myself off, I'm going to end up in a leper colony. What's the difference? I'm probably already infected.
I've been around these poor people for over a year, and I'm in perfect health.
But you never brought them home, Dad. Please help me.
Oh, what's the matter with you? Haven't you ever seen a leper before in your life?
Ben goes to Rivka, grabs her shoulders, and kisses her forehead.
Isn't she beautiful, your mother? A real saint. I don't want to hear another bad word about her.
Ben immediately goes back to chopping his wood.
I could never imagine it, but my son, all he cares about is himself.
I'm leaving.
Stop acting that way toward your mother. She's got some wonderful chopped liver inside, waiting for you.
A donkey cart driven by a Bedouin and a dwarf drive up to the front of the house. In the back of the cart are two crosses.
They're here. Where are you going?
Up to the crucifixion.
Are you upset? Because you better not go up there and do something that's going to embarrass us.
I'm going up there to set everything up just the way you want it, okay?
Ben throws him a tallis, a Jewish prayer shawl.
Put your tallis on. If the zealots see you without it, they'll tear you limb from limb.
Yoni grudgingly puts on the tallis as he crosses the road and walks up the hill toward the scene of the crucifixion. Rivka calls out to Yoni, who doesn't turn back.
There's nothing wrong in trying to help the downtrodden.
The Bedouin and the dwarf load the rest of the wood onto their wagon. Ben calls out to Yoni, who has already crossed the road.
They'll be up in 10 minutes.
Exterior hillside, day. Yoni continues walking, shoulders hunched, head down, perturbed. As he continues trudging up the hill, Yoni gazes upward as a huge shadow envelops the hillside. The sun soon reemerges and Yoni suddenly snaps his fingers.
I've got it.
Yoni takes out a polished stone mirror and gazes at his reflection. He takes out a metal comb and combs his hair.
No more lepers and no more carpenter's son. Maybe you haven't heard this one. Well, I'll tell you. Once upon a time, there was a rabbi, a soothsayer, and a cultic priest.
Exterior valley, day. On the other side of the hillside, Roman soldiers hold back a surging crowd of zealots at the base of the cross. The group includes Judas Iscariot, a tall man with bushy red hair, and Barabbas, an older man with a long graying beard. As Ben watches from the sidelines, Barabbas points to a white, bearded old rabbi in the crowd.
There have been rumors, Judas.
Don't make me laugh.
Listen, there have been signs.
Barabbas, every time you claim there have been a sign from the heavens that it's the Messiah, but he never comes.
The crowd parts for the garrison commander, Marcellus, a good-looking man in his 30s who escorts bedraggled prisoner Cassianus, a crazed-looking man with curly hair, to the foot of the cross. Yoni arrives and watches on the sidelines.
Free the zealots! Free the chosen one!
Silence, Jews! The prisoner Cassianus has committed the following crimes against the empire. Blasphemy against the gods of Rome, riding a beast, to wit, a camel, while intoxicated, urinating on Roman property, and presenting false credentials as the town crier.
The old rabbi steps forward.
Your Excellency.
What is it, old man?
Surely this man's crimes aren't worthy of the ultimate penalty. The zealot is a highly skilled entertainer and singer. I believe he recently performed at a sold-out engagement near Lake Galilee.
Aha. Well, what can he sing?
In chains, Cassianus motions for the old rabbi to come over.
I can't sing.
Improvise, you idiot!
The old rabbi addresses Marcellus.
The chosen one, otherwise known as Cassianus the Crooner, will now perform one of his many crowd-pleasing favorites.
Left with no choice, Cassianus clears his throat.
You're the top, you're the Colosseum, you're the top, you're the Rome Museum, you're a Grecian urn, a pier that burns or roasts, you're Plato's parrot, Augustus Garrett, you're Caesar's ghost.
A man in the crowd steps forward.
He has no talent. Crucify him. Crucify the crooner.
Yoni steps forward into the middle of the action.
And who might you be?
A prophet, Your Excellency. Yoni ben Solomon from Nazareth.
Ah, a prophet like Moses. What miracle can you show us, Moses?
Well, not exactly miracles. I'm a comedian.
Judas steps forward.
Imposter!
No, let this Jew speak.
Thank you, Excellency. You're going to love this one.
Yoni clears his throat.
Sarah was walking with a little son on the seashore when suddenly a big wave came and swept away the boy. Sarah was very desperate and asked Hashem for help. If he would help her, she would be even more devoted to the Lord, serve him with even bigger enthusiasm. Suddenly, a miracle happened. Another giant wave appeared, throwing the boy back unharmed and onto the sand. Sarah began kissing her son, making sure he was all right. Then she sent a grateful prayer to Hashem, adding, "But you know, Lord, he's still missing his yarmulke." Get it? Missing his yarmulke?
Yoni grabs his gut and can't stop laughing. The crowd, in contrast, looks up at Yoni stone-faced.
Stone him! Death to the false Messiah!
People in the crowd grab Yoni. Exterior perimeter, day, continuous. As Ben observes two men each about to bind both Cassianus and Yoni to separate crosses, he puts his hand over his mouth in horror.
Oi!
Close up on Yoni.
Ah!
Judas runs up, brandishing an axe, preparing to strike Yoni.
Death to the traitor!
Out of nowhere, an arrow knocks the axe out of Judas's hand. It's Ben holding a bow. He approaches Marcellus.
Your Excellency, there must be some mistake. That's my son.
Marcellus holds up his hand. The crowd goes silent.
Wait.
Marcellus motions to an adjutant who brings him a bowl full with water. He places it on a table before Marcellus.
Ah, it's you, Crossmaker. 1,000 apologies, but you must realize that whatever the rabble desires, we must accede to their demands.
Marcellus dips his hands in the water and addresses the crowd.
I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves.
The crowd roars. Marcellus holds up his hand and silences the crowd again. Ben runs up to Yoni at the foot of the cross.
What did you do, doofus?
Dad, I was just trying out one of my new routines on the crowd. Guess they didn't like it.
Guess? I told you to keep your big fat mouth shut.
Ben returns to Marcellus, who is still dipping his hands in the bowl.
What is this with the bowl and the water? This is a kid with delusions of grandeur. That's all this is.
It's not me. These are the new procedures on orders direct from Rome. But I'll tell you what, no stakes through the hands on the cross. We'll just tie their hands with a little rope. Now, does that sound better?
Excellency, how could you? I've been giving you discounts on my crosses for years.
Marcellus addresses the crowd.
Raise up the zealous and the sorcerer, the zealot and the sorcerer.
The crowd roars again.
Crucify them! Crucify them!
The soldiers bind Cassianus and Yoni with rope to separate crosses and raise them up.
Dad?
The sound of triumphant trumpets. A chariot drives up containing Cato Clay, now dressed in a white tunic, accompanied on foot by Nubian slaves in white robes.
Who is this interloper?
A young woman from the crowd steps forward.
Oh my God, it's the latest Jerusalem Idol winner!
A throng of young women from the crowd rush forward and surround Clay inside the chariot. He basks in their adulation. Judas pulls out a knife and waves it in front of Yoni.
Traitors! Save the zealot with this golden voice. The bad comedian is the false Messiah.
Why, it's the neighborhood bully, Judas Iscariot. Thanks for showing up here, Judas. Always nice to see you.
The young woman shouts at Judas.
Shut up, you with the small pecker. Do not disrespect our idol.
The crowd chants.
Idol! Idol! Idol!
Some men from the crowd rush up and knock Judas's knife out of his hand. Marcellus raises his hands to silence the crowd. He speaks to his adjutant.
Who is this man?
It's last year's winner of the Jerusalem Idol, Cato Clay.
Why do the women fawn all over him?
They are crazed fans, Excellency, who know not what they do.
I see.
Marcellus addresses Clay.
You there. You've interrupted our crucifixion.
Clay gets out of the chariot and approaches Marcellus. He's holding a scroll.
Esteemed Procurator, I deeply apologize for the intrusion. On behalf of my sponsor, Jerusalem Light Ale, I am here to announce the winner of a special promotion.
Special promotion?
Yes. One lucky resident of Judea has been selected from the latest census rolls for an all-expense-paid trip to Lake Tiberias, where he'll win his own unique group of real-life, honest-to-goodness disciples.
The crowd murmurs with glee.
By whose authority do you speak?
Clay holds up the scroll.
By authority of the Emperor Tiberius' entertainment office in Rome.
The crowd murmurs again with heightened anticipation. Marcellus takes the scroll from Clay and looks it over.
It seems to be authentic.
The young woman from the crowd speaks up.
Who is it? Tell us who's been selected.
Clay grabs the scroll from Marcellus and reads it.
It says here, Yoni bin Solomon of Nazareth.
Hey, That's me.
The crowd roars. Judas steps forward.
What? That traitor? It can't be.
You're the traitor. He's been selected by Jerusalem Idol. That's good enough for me.
Free him! Free him!
Marcellus holds his hand up and silences the crowd.
By the authority vested in me by the Emperor Tiberius, I hereby order that the sorcerer be freed.
The crowd goes wild and cheers. The soldiers take Yoni down from the cross and lead him to the chariot where he joins Clay. Chariot now moves down the hill as Ben follows. Behind him, the crowd begins to slowly follow the chariot.
Wow, Cato, I can't thank you enough.
Don't even think about it. Now is your chance to be somebody special. And by the way, here's a small honorarium from my masters so you can open a little expense account.
And scene.